Yellow!
Hey bud, what's up?
Oh, just getting going here.
Place a disaster?
Oh yeah, big time, bud.
Let's make this happen.
Sounds good.
I'll be up front. Bye.
Let's go to the McDons house. Let's go to the McDons. Let's go to the McDons house and play some songs. Let's go to the McDons house. Let's go to the McDons. Let's go to the McDons house and play some songs.
Thanks, everybody.
It's Ryan's spot of the week. It's Ryan's spot of the week.
Hello there.
I wanted to talk about 2012 this week. There's a shit pile of people that think December 21st, 2012, this winter, she's all coming crashing down. And I mean, as long as people have been around, people have been making, failed predictions of the world ending. So maybe it is gonna end, maybe a giant friggin' asteroid's gonna smash the shit out of the earth. It hits your city, you're done, everybody's toast. And if it doesn't hit your city, you're still toast. Probably 100-year dust cloud just fills the sky, no sun coming through, it's like a nuclear winter, no food can grow, you can't eat potatoes, and that means Lay's chips, because they come from potatoes. And there's a good chance an asteroid could hit the water, massive friggin' tsunamis coming in. Imagine an asteroid, 6 miles wide, hits the friggin' Atlantic Ocean. You're waking up in bed with dolphins and plankton swimming all over your face, I was thinking maybe it could be Jesus coming back for round 2, rounding up the troops, and geez, that would be a wicked awesome UFC 200 event. Can you imagine Joe Rogan's, commentating? on Jesus versus the devil. You know damn well Jesus is putting Satan in some kind of armbar or something, because he probably trains with Hoist Gracie because he wears white robes too. So super volcanoes, that shit could go off. There's a polar shift. I don't know how that works. I'm not a scientist. Or straight up the sun's gonna explode, or just like a big massive solar flare, which if something or anything does happen, I think that's what it would be. He's been super chill, even though he's 14 million degrees Celsius, and now he's starting to get pissed. You know, he's going through a cycle. I don't know if it's a menstruation cycle or what. You know, the whole electrical grid goes down. There's no electricity, you know, there's no air conditioning, all the food goes bad, there's no friggin' power, there's no gas, there's no fuel. You know, you're gonna go over to your neighbor the first week, rob him, steal some stuff because there's no cops, but then week 2, you're gonna be friggin' starving because you got no godforsaken food and you're probably gonna eat them. So I also just wanted to touch on some of the failed predictions that have been around. You know, the year 500, I thought it was gonna end there, for God's sake. It's just a nice solid round number. The year 1000, probably some guy that looked like the Quaker Oats dude, and he thought she was all over, so they probably partied like it was 999. You know, that was it. You can't go to 1000, right? 1179, some dude named John Toledo, he predicted the world was gonna end in 1186. He thought the planets were gonna line up. Apparently he had some unforeseen technology, because guess what? The planets aren't gonna line up. The chances of that happening is like 1 in 180 trillion. 1284, Pope Innocent III. Just like to say that if you choose your Pope name to be Pope Innocent, chances are you're probably up to no good. But this guy, he predicted some weird equation by adding 666 years to the date that Islam was founded. And he was like, yeah, she's all coming down there. I'm Pope Innocent. I'm a nice guy. Wrong. 1669, a bunch of Russians, they thought it was all over. 20,000 Russians burned themselves to death. And you know damn well they were drinking vodka while they were doing it, because they probably had a shit ton of vodka. It's in Russia, 1669. These are just a handful of the thousands of failed predictions of the end of the world. So now we have 2012, you know, based on the ancient Mayan civilizations, and they had one of the most amazingly accurate calendars that ever existed, even more accurate than ours today. And the crazy shit is that they predicted every solar eclipse that was ever gonna happen, and that makes you wonder, you know, maybe there is some kind of crazy shit with the sun that's gonna happen, but apparently their calendar just ends there. You know, it doesn't say the world's over, like it's not like end of the world. They stopped on the winter equinox, 21st. So there's some people out there that believe this crazy theory that there's a planet X or Nibiru that's in our solar system cruising around the sun and it's gonna smash into us. If there's a massive freaking unknown planet in our solar system that's on a huge 3,000 year rotation cycle, we probably know about it by now, especially if it's gonna smash into us this year. You're an idiot. Cross that one off the list. 2012, you know, it's just around the corner. You know, a lot of people say that all it really is our galaxy slowly moving through the universe and we're entering a new phase of space. You know, we're moving from Pisces into Aquarius. The Mormons always have a source or a stock of food, almost a month's stock. So if shit hits the fan and you're not prepared, find those Mormons that came to your door, you know, just follow them home, see where they live, and then we'll just go crash there for a while, because they also put their kids through Boy Scouts and they know how to tie knots. Jesus was in North America, he was in the woods, and they wrote down the scriptures on bark. It was real, it really happened. We're safe, no worries, Mormons.
It's Ryan's spot of the week. It's Ryan's spot of the week.
We was in the park, way up in the stand. She asked me to shake her hand. I could tell she wasn't no fake. I'm telling you.
It's just like being in, it's like being in a living room, isn't it? I'll invite all you 15,000 motherfuckers over. Oh yeah, I'll do that too, right? Yeah, we'll just throw a bag of weed in the fireplace and just let it, you know.
The Whacker! Mark's made a list of the best albums in the history of the human being. Records we all should talk about. An album we could all listen to this week.
All right, I hope I'm all good because this is important. We've had some milestones so far in the old series here, if you've been watching. But I'll tell you, you gotta wonder, why is it only number 27 that these guys are coming in at? Because, you know, if anyone that knows me, you'd think that these guys would be like number 1, because I've been, you know, going on about them and how they're such an institution that, you know, even surpasses Deep Purple and Bathory and all those other great groups. So why is it? Well, let me try to explain if I can even get my straight head thinking here. Okay, let me see. Okay, it's kind of wild. Okay, we'll go back to the time I discovered these guys, which was 1977. I already had about 100 records in my collection. And there was, people would talk when I was growing up about the moment. the moment they heard, I don't know, Bill Haley on the radio for the first time, or Elvis on the Dorsey Brothers show, or Beatles on the Ed Sullivan show. They talked about that moment. And even though I had almost 100 albums, and I've been seeing concerts, and I've been blown away and shitting myself and the whole thing, I always felt I didn't have the moment. Well, October 1977, these guys are on Don Kirshner's rock concert. That was my moment. I just about shit myself when I saw that, and holy shit, that was my moment. And so if that's my moment, and these guys are the greatest group of the 20th century, why aren't they higher? Well, let me try to explain. It's almost as if any one album is trumped by the sum of their whole part, something like that. And it was, like if you ask me, like you know by the show that I have my favorite albums, I have my favorite songs, I have my favorite concerts, I have my favorite live albums, I have a favorite guitar player, drummer, vocalist, keyboardist, bass player, all that stuff. But if you ask me, what is the greatest musical moment in my whole life, it was seeing these guys on Don Kirshner. So basically, the greatest record, the greatest song, the greatest concert was a TV show for me. I was blown away by them on Don Kirshner's. So that's it. That if Don Kirshner's was maybe an LP, then I could say that was the best one, maybe. But anyway, these guys are the greatest. That was my moment. And I'm surprised that they only came in at 27. And I had to think of a Ramones album, which was the best one. So it's obviously Leave Home. And this is the first one I ever got. Shortly after I saw them on Don Kirshner's, I went up to Big Star Imports. I talked to Barry Kent, and he ordered me the first album. Well, 2 weeks later, it's still not in, and I'm hyperactive, and I was young, and I needed it. So he says, you'll have to probably go somewhere else. I said, well, I'll tell you what, they have 2 records out. I'll go get the other one. So I phoned Radioland, they were out of stock. Kelly Stereo Mart had it. Brought it home. So this is November 77. I brought this record home, and it was almost like reliving that experience I had when I saw them on Don Kirshner. Like, these guys are the shit. It's everything. I don't know what to say. I'm all like boggled because they still blow me away. It's the Ramones. And so yeah, Leave Home. Glad to see you go. Gimme Shock Treatment. I Remember You. Oh, I Love Her So. Carbona Not Glue. Susie the Headbanger. Pinhead. Now I Want to Be a Good Boy. Swallow My Pride. What's Your Game? California Sun. And oddly enough, California Sun's on the song list. It's number 84. It's not this version though. It's the version from Don Kirshner's rock concert. But I just thought I'd mention that. Commando. You're going to kill that girl? You should have never opened that door? Yeah, my God. They were like a comet. They arrived. They were here for what, 22 years? And then when it ended, they were called back to their home base because, you know, they weren't meant to stay here. The mission was complete. So, I don't know. They're the greatest, you know. I have my greatest British groups, my best 60s group, but this is the best band ever. And I know that might sound weighty. There's a lot of other bands and albums I like ahead of that, but my goodness gracious, what a freak show. And I should be just going on and doing all sorts of testimonials about this great band. But I feel a little lost because it's still light and I'm not home yet. But that's it. Number 27 in the history of the human being, Leave Home by the Ramones, their second album. I don't know what to say other than this is where it all began for me. This is my first punk rock album ever. And I really never looked back, even though a band called Venom kind of made me look the other way for a little bit. But I never really did look back, you know. So as Lemmy once said, R-A-M-O-N-E-S, Ramones. I guess that's all I can say, folks. There they are, Dee Dee, Joey, Tommy, and Johnny.
Mark Marx made a list of the best albums in the history of the human being. Records we all should talk about. An album we could all listen to this week. Let's go to the McDons house. Let's go to the McDons. Let's go to the McDons house and play some songs.
Thanks, everybody.